Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Calhoun's. On Friday, I took some of my New York friends down to Calhoun's on the River. They could not believe the view, the breeze off the river, the Vol Navy, the fans who were out in force, or the food. And you won't believe it either. You'll be blown away. Get down to Calhoun's on the River. You know, you don't have a game day this week, which makes it a perfect day to get down there, watch other games, and enjoy yourself Saturday. Calhoun's on the River, all kinds of Calhoun's locations all over East Tennessee. I want to welcome in the next wave of panelists. We have a first-timer here on the show. A few weeks ago, we had Travis Henry, former Bill. We had Jason Allen, former Dolphin. Eventually, I'd get a former Patriot here. Dante Stallworth is with us. Always good to have you here, or nice to have you here. Always good to have Sterling Hinton, VFL quarterback here. Always good to have Daniel Hood, VFL defensive lineman there. And, of course, Mike Stoll sticking around like a barnacle on the show.
Right.
All right, here we go.
I just can't move fast enough.
Quickly, guys, have you ever been on a college team? You all played at Tennessee. Were you ever on a college team that had this many injuries, this many missing bodies?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, it's when you look at the way that the season just started out from the very beginning. I mean, we came in this year with a lot of expectations, and you know, from the way we finished last year, we finished on a strong note. We came in early this year, and guys were right away we're getting hurt, and so once it seems like the first injury happened, and then it just was a snowball effect, and it's really tough when you have a lot of young guys that come in and haven't played, haven't made any plays in the collegiate level, and it's a difficult task especially when it starts to deplete your depth. It's a tough task.
Guys, you ever?
The only team I can remember that's even close to it was Muschamp last year in Florida. You know, they had I think about 10 season-ending injuries, and they went from a top 10 team to down to I think they finished near last in the East. So that's about it.
Got him fired.
Yeah, got him
after
fired.
all the injuries. What I want to do, I'll point out one thing. Alabama tight end O.J. Howard said after the game that they knew all along, obviously, that Tennessee had very little depth on defense, which is why they went up tempo all game to wear Tennessee out, which they did. I want to go to your tweets for these guys. So first tweet that I got, let's go ahead and see if we can get any of these up here. Here's first one. I was talking about depth, and but he's recruited depth for 4 years. Okay, guys, your thoughts on there should be more depth?
No, he recruited talent to play the first couple years. Now he's recruiting for depth. And when you recruit for depth, you recruit kids that in 2 years, once those talented people move on, they step into their roles. Not, hey, come to Tennessee and everybody's gone, now you're playing. That would be recruiting for talent. Again, he's building his depth, but his depth's having to play way too soon.
Alabama's had 6 number 1 recruiting classes in a row. They would be better at dealing with these types of injuries than Tennessee is, than any team in the country is. However, even Alabama would not be Alabama if they'd had this many guys out. If they're down to, you're talking about your linebackers right now, you're playing your 5th and 6th linebackers. That's what Tennessee's starting, linebackers 5 and 6. If Alabama were starting their 5th and 6th linebackers, they may be 5 stars, but there's going to be a drop-off.
Well, let's look at it like this. We got 20 guys hurt. There's only 22 positions on the field.
You can basically,
it gets real. It's the reason why you have first team, second team, and third team. We're hoping our first team is better than everybody else's first team, which is hopeful thinking, and we wish we plan on that. But we're at our second and third team, and fourth team in some position with hardly any experience. It happens.
well, and you can also make the point, Dante, that with the depth is what allowed you to get to 5-2 with all these injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have the goal for this season. Most people said 10-2 win the East. Your goals are still in front of you despite all these injuries. I would argue you've shown depth already. It's just at some point it runs out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what we've done for the whole season. Like I said earlier, guys have been getting hurt from the very first game. So the depth has really carried us up to this point. I mean, you could probably put the injuries that we've had with any other team, and they would not win as many games as we've won up to this point.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we got another tweet here about injuries. Someone said, are all these injuries just bad luck, or is this the change in strength coach showing up? Gentlemen.
It's a great question. I think one that we probably can't answer right now. I mean, right now the obvious thing is to put it on the strength coach. But when you're talking about going from Coach Lawson to Coach Searson, there shouldn't have been that much of a change in 3 months of training, but we had a ton of injuries last year as well, so maybe it's the program overall.
Well, last year, one of the reasons they made the change, reportedly, Butch will never say it, but was shoulder injuries. That was the rumor, that you had too many shoulder injuries, and they thought that went back to the weight room This year you've got concussions, you got shoulders, you got knees, you got ankles, you got a broken foot. I think this year would be tougher to put it on a strength coach, but it is too early to say. I think anybody.
There is one thing I'd add to it. I think another issue with it is, and talking to some players that have been there, is when we have injuries on the team, we're starting to practice without pads. And so, you go from your normal, okay, well, we're in full pads Tuesday, Wednesday, now we're in uppers Thursday. Well, right now, you're not in full pads Tuesday, you're not in full pads Wednesday. So when you go into a game against Alabama, you've not hit all week. And so I think that's probably where more of your issues come, where you're getting concussions and things like that, because you're not banging during the week.
Mike Stoll?
Yeah, we are, and that is, you got, and there's some players that are just prone to being banged up. There's players that are prone to injury. But we always used to just, because we had depth, but we had players, we would practice in full gear all the time. And practicing in full gear gets you used to it.
Let me show you something. Let's talk about Mike Stoll in full gear. All right, now, that guy on the left, Popeye.
Look at that
Popeye
arm.
eating that spinach. maybe a little East German spinach in there, kind of thing. But Popeye there. But you've got Mike Stoll there, and you got Coleman Thomas on the right. Look at the difference in pad size. Now, there are more injuries in today's game, I think, than we've had in the past. I certainly don't remember losing 5 guys. Now, I'm not just talking about Tennessee, but I'm talking overall. This is bad luck on Tennessee's part. But overall, very quickly, you guys all played. Everybody wants smaller shoulder pads now, smaller thigh pads. They didn't want knee pads in the NFL, and they made them come back. Is the change in pads? I mean, you got bigger, faster, stronger guys in smaller padding. That seems like that's not a good equation.
I think especially with each position is different, but offense and defensive line, they want to be able to use their hands, and it's similar to wide receivers as well. I used to always, or at least try to work out with some of our defensive line because they had the best hand drills, and so when you have those big pads, they're kind of restrictive, and so. Each position is different. Obviously, quarterbacks won't have the huge shoulder pads, but the offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they used to, right?
Yeah, go find a picture of Andre Ware when he was playing monsters out there. But it has changed. Sterling, your thoughts? Any impact?
My thought is, and I'm go way off the cuff on my reply to that statement. I think everybody in football is trying to get sexy now. That's what I believe. You got these tight jerseys. Everybody got their arm out. Everybody's doing curls and stuff. Back then, you look at Mike Stoll. He had the big gun out there, but you wouldn't say it was shredded, but you wouldn't say that to his face the way it looked either, would you? Exactly. You got to start playing football according to your position. Everybody can't be a receiver or defensive back.
I'm pretty sure that arm is bigger than the leg I've got with the quad that's torn.
21 and a half.
Let me tell you.
Pretty impressive. Impressive, Mike Stoll. All right. When we come back, more of your tweets about Butch Jones, about when will Tennessee beat Alabama, and did the Vols give up? We'll discuss. Come on back with a bunch of our VFLs.